Today we're going to look at those creepy clean tones that are part of Korn's signature sound. Whether you like them or not, Korn are a really important band for modern metal. This is in the early days of the internet, before even things like Napster were available. There weren't even permanent TV channels dedicated to alternative music here in the UK. You couldn't even turn the TV on and listen to things like metal. You got like an hour or two late at night on MTV2. I think I definitely heard of Korn before I heard them. Side by side comparison to modern bands, they may not sound that heavy, but at the time they really did make people think differently about music and the way you can express yourself with your instrument. And aside from all that, it is a really cool sound, so let's take a look. Now, you could spend all day researching what your favourite artists used on certain classic albums, but there is a slight danger in that. The further back in time you go, the more chaotic studio sessions tended to be. Nowadays, there's not a great deal of money in the music industry for people that have flamboyant projects. But in the 90s, bands were still hiring out expensive studios for 6 to 8 months at a time or more. And in those days, producers had a little bit more clout because it wasn't the norm for most bands to have in-depth recording and engineering knowledge. Some did, but the rise of the home producer was probably at least 10 years off at that point. So you may be able to find out what Head and Monkey had on their pedal boards at the time, but that doesn't necessarily mean that that was what was used on the album. That said, it's a fair starting point. They may have used their favourite pedals, but it also may be the case that they had studio-grade equipment that they could use for the recording. So let's start with the amp. Korn used rectifiers in the 90s, and I think they probably still do. The rectifier clean channel isn't particularly lovely, and there's not a great version of the Axe effects. They're mainly gain channels. So we've got the USA Clean, which is a Mesa Mark IV or Mark V, I think. In any case, it's a Mesa style clean channel, so it's a good starting point. I've got the drive quite high for a clean tone, just to give it a bit more bite. And there's a lot of level here because it's really quiet. It's a little bit scooped and no bright switch on. For the cab, I've got a mix of the Recto SM57 and Recto M160 cabs, and I'm on the neck pickup on my guitar. And this part is played by Head rather than Monkey, so a good starting point is a Univibe pedal. There's a model of that in the phaser block of the Axe effects. Now I want that really watery effect, so the rate is quite high and the depth is very high, and the mix is at 100%. In front of that, we have a reverb. I've gone for a small room, but I've raised the time up to 3 seconds, and the mix is just under 50%. And that to me is a great starting point for that really creepy Korn clean tone. What I just want to quickly demonstrate is the difference that the placement of the Univibe and the reverb makes. Common sense would say that the Univibe should come before the reverb, because that's generally how you deal with like modulation and time-based effects. However, what I found when I was building this patch was that the Univibe effect just sounded a lot cooler when it was affecting the whole reverb signal, which is why I put it this way. So let's just hear the difference if we switch them around. So this is Univibe after the reverb. We just switch them around. It's subtle, but the Univibe does have a more profound effect when it's placed after, in my opinion. The other way you could do this would be to put these effects in front of the amp. Let's try that. And the other way around. My personal preference is to have it here at the ends. There's not many times when I'd reach for a univibe, so it's quite cool to have it having quite a profound effect on the signal. This tone's no great secret, but I think it's a great one to have in your arsenal. If you've got your own recipe for that Korn kind of clean tone, please let me know. Don't forget to like and subscribe. More and more videos coming out all the time now, so stick around and let me know what you think.